This is Planet 76, your source for all things Philadelphia 76ers. We've got another great episode coming your way today, and we're cleared for takeoff. Let's go.
All right, welcome everybody to Planet 76 podcast. I'm your co-host, Michael from Trust to Love. Here, Troy with me as well. As usual, episode, what is this, 37? 38?
35.
This is 35?
Snake episode. This is 35.
It is?
I think. Now you're making me second guess.
Oh, man. What is it? Every time I think I know the...
Every time you think you know.
It is 35. It is 35. It is the Snake episode, a.k.a. the Cupcake episode, a.k.a. the Kevin Durant episode. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Shots fired. Shout out to you Nets
Welcome
fans,
to the
bro.
show, everybody. Before we get into the episode, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify. Go follow us on Instagram. The usual. Make sure you guys go do that. And, yeah, second episode of the new year, January 12th, 2022. So, yeah, seven-game win streak, unfortunately, was ended tonight. For those that didn't watch the game, I'm assuming everyone did that's listening to this, but if you didn't, Sixers lost, unfortunately, and it wasn't the best game. I wish I could say it was a little more competitive. It was to an extent, but not enough, in my opinion. So,
All right. So, the 7-game streak for the Sixers snapped tonight against the Charlotte Hornets at home. It's funny because we wrote up this outline prior to the conclusion of the game because the game just ended, 45 minutes ago, and pretty positive vibes on the outline today, and then we'll get into the Hornets too. But or we can work. Let's work backwards a little bit. So what we're gonna get into today is the Hornets tonight.
Sorry, I'm looking at the end of the outline.
Oh, LOL.
Al Horford
You'll see.
out.
Al Horford, because we're going to preview the Boston Celtics. We're going to preview that matchup coming up on Friday the 14th. Solid week for the Sixers all in all, again, outside of tonight, but wins against the Magic, Spurs, and Rockets this week, and since we last recorded. Tonight's game against Charlotte we're going to chat about, and again, we're going to preview Boston. I want to give a quick shout-out to Embiid, and then I'm going to give a couple stats. Just stats of the day, as I like to call them, and then we'll hit up this Charlotte Hornets game, which I was unable to watch tonight. But Matisse Thybulle this week, I think against the Rockets and Spurs, he reached double digits in scoring.
Sweet.
Which, if you know anything about Matisse Thybulle, that's a big deal. If he can do that. It took him 28 games. The previous 28 games, he only had 2 games that were double digits. So improvements this week. I'm not sure what he did tonight. And then Joel Embiid, as you may know, have heard, he broke the franchise record for most consecutive road games with 30-plus, with 9 and still counting since the Sixers were not on the road tonight. I don't even know what Joel finished with tonight. Sixers are 23-17 now, had won 7 straight. Like I said, I did not catch the Charlotte Hornets game, though I would like to... before I toss this your way, I would like to take some blame for the loss tonight.
Okay.
So I'm originally from North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, okay.
And I was not even thinking, but today, I don't know if you can tell, I wore a hat today that is a Charlotte Hornets hat.
What are you
just
doing?
Didn't think about it. It's my fault. I'm not a Hornets fan by any stretch of the imagination. Do I even consider, like I lived in North Carolina 6 hours from Charlotte. I went to a couple games, that's it, picked up a hat. I have a collection of hats. I wear them, and today I happened to wear that hat, not thinking. So I'll take some of the blame.
Yeah, I mean, you do own a lot of
so.
hats, so I can't really, I wouldn't really follow you for that one, honestly, because... Yeah.
But today of all days, I probably wear this twice a year, and I wasn't thinking. I pulled it out and said, all right, let's hit the road. But what happened with the Sixers tonight? Tell me why we lost to the Charlotte Hornets at home. A 16-game win streak that we had against the Hornets was snapped. Why?
Well, to be honest, a lot of the time was, a lot of the game was the Hornets just basically running the Sixers out of the gym, because the Hornets, I mean, they really only have one big man, and it's Mason Plumlee. Aside from that, they usually run really small ball, and they can run the floor. And unfortunately for Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond, they aren't the quickest of centers, to say the least. Although Drummond, I would say less that's the case for him. But just overall, the Sixers big men, not the quickest, and not, they don't have the greatest stamina in the world to continue with that kind of run and gun style. Mm-hmm. So the Hornets did a lot of running up and down the floor on defense, on offense. A lot of their points came in transition. Gordon Hayward especially, I think he went like 10 for 12 on the night. He went 9 for 9 for 22 points at half. And I mean,
are you serious?
Oh, I'm 100% serious.
9 for 9.
I believe
Gordon
it was
Hayward
9 for 9. I believe he made his first 9 or 10 shots. I was just as surprised as you were.
He finished 13 for
16.
13
for 16. Oh my gosh. Okay.
For 30.
Okay, I thought it was less than that, but either way, I mean, pretty much when it all boils down to it, that pretty much is a huge reason as to why the Sixers lost. For some reason, Gordon Hayward just finds himself just eating the Sixers alive on offense. And again, like I mentioned, the Sixers had all the opportunities. I believe they had. I know for a fact they had at least double the amount of free throws the Hornets had tonight. I would venture to say that it's upwards of 30 free throws for the Sixers. The one time I saw it was 26 attempts.
28, and the Charlotte Hornets had 8 attempts.
So
wow.
That's another huge opportunity the Sixers somehow messed up. And another opportunity the Sixers messed up, although not really an opportunity, was Doc Rivers playing Tobias Harris, Andre Drummond, and Joel Embiid in the same lineup. Don't ask me why he did that. And the only shooter he had on the court was Seth Curry. And he had Maxey, albeit a decent shooter, but obviously not enough. When you have Harris, Embiid, and Drummond...
For how long of a stretch, if you had to guess?
A few minutes at least. He had Drummond and Embiid out there for a few minutes at least. And then it was Harris for another few minutes.
I can't... Because that's what, the second or third time he's done that?
Yeah, he's done Drummond and Embiid before. I forget if he's done Harris as well, but that was a major flub on Rivers, and I just... Very strange is what I will say. So, a lot of kind of clunkiness tonight for the Sixers, and a lot of not so much clunkiness for the Hornets. So.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that free throw stat that you pointed out, because if you were to see that, and you see that Joel Embiid had 31 and he made 10 free throws himself, and yeah, I mean, granted, the Sixers only went 18 for 28 from the free throw line, which is an issue,
But they got 28 attempts.
28 attempts, and the Hornets get 8, and you play the Hornets at home. You've beat them 16 times in a row. Joel Embiid has 31. If those are the facts, you think the Sixers win that game. And they did not. They lost by 11. It seemed like they were, at least when I checked the score a couple times, it seemed, it was about that when I looked. I think early third quarter or late third quarter, they were down 10-11 and couldn't get over the hump. Did they get any closer?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. They came, I think, within 6, maybe 7, and then the Hornets went on another. They went on a 9-0 run at one point for probably 3 minutes. The Hornets couldn't get a bucket. They were turning the ball over, and then the Hornets came back down a couple minutes later, and that was pretty much. I think they went up 10 again, and then they couldn't. The Sixers couldn't get it much further than 11, and it's like Hayward, Rozier, and I believe Bridges, and LaMelo Ball didn't have a great night as a scorer, but it's like he doesn't even really need to score because he's a threat from anywhere. Like, even though he's not a great
7 boards, 8 assists for Ball.
Even though
tonight.
He's not a great shooter, he still is a constant threat to drive to the rim, and he draws defense. And he's passing out, he's making plays. A couple of plays I saw, he just lobbed it to Mason Plumlee over Embiid, and it was just like for some reason Embiid has a hard time guarding those alley-oops. We saw it in the playoffs last year with the Hawks because Trae Young and Clint Capella, that's their patented move. and that's all basically they did. But it's like couldn't
Right.
do anything about it for some reason.
Strange night, I feel.
Yeah. You could say that.
I'm not upset I couldn't catch it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, one of those hosts of Planet 76 happened to wear a Charlotte Hornets hat today, so that could
Jinxed
be the
it.
reason. That's terrible. That is terrible.
Bad
on my part.
timing.
Although, granted, fair enough, it does not say the word Hornets or Charlotte anywhere. It has the North Carolina State outline, and it is Charlotte Hornets colors, and it's a basketball, like, in the middle.
Oh, it's North Carolina State?
And I got it in Charlotte. So it is...
Dennis Smith Jr., shout out.
Anyway, we move on. So that's the bad news, but there is a lot of good news to talk about. Sixers this week, quickly, unless we have a lot there. But Sixers this week, win over Orlando by 10, a win against San Antonio at home by 19, pretty dominant. Notable in that one is that Joel Embiid, Seth Curry, and Tobias Harris scored or assisted on 106 of the 119 points.
Wow. I did not know that.
Right. That's production.
That's amazing.
And that's not the game that Joel had the triple-double in. He had the triple-double against Orlando?
Oh, wait, no,
Either
wasn't
way.
it? No, it was Houston last week.
Houston. Yeah. Okay, Houston. Either way, I mean,
fantastic.
Joel, Seth, and Tobias were obviously scoring and assisting on a lot of points. That's 89% of the total offense. That's pretty remarkable.
Something like LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry numbers.
Right. So the Sixers, I don't want to say big three, but they were big that night. That's for sure. And then a win against Houston, dominant win at Houston, 119-91. I don't know if anything else jumps off the table or, jumps off the page with those games before we can get to a cool segment that I've got planned called Buying or Selling. Did we just go there?
I think we did that before. I'm glad this
We've
is
done
back.
this.
I'm glad this is back. I like this.
Ready for it?
And I don't think there's, again, like, Sixers just taking care of business against poop teams, Rockets, Magic. Spurs are better than them, but they're not good by any means. So, other than that, like, just taking care of business, it's like, it's fine with me. Fine with me, 100%. So.
Yep, taking care of business, sitting at 23-17, winners of 7 out of 8. Feels good. Currently at the 5 seed, I guess 2.5 games back of Brooklyn at the 2. Chicago Bulls still leading the way, but pretty good basketball from the Sixers. Can't complain. All good things must come to an end. The 7-game streak came to an end tonight, and we move on to Boston. But before we preview that action, let's get to some buying or selling.
Sweet.
Michael, you're on the hot seat. You ready?
Let's do it. I like this. We did this.
So these are all kind of rumor type things going on in Sixers land, and you just say if you're buying it, if you believe that that's true, or if you believe that there's some stock in that, or if you're selling, if you just think that it's false. And we'll even talk about kind of what that looks like for the Sixers. So there's been reports somewhere, some source somewhere that is not me, said that Joel Embiid has not pressured, however you want to define that word, pressured the Sixers and Daryl Morey for a Ben Simmons trade. Are you buying or selling that?
I think I'll sell off a little bit on that. I don't know if he so much pressured Morey or management, but over the summer they did play tennis together. So there definitely were some conversations going on. Now, granted, that was 5 months ago, 6 months ago. So definitely some conversation going on, I have to imagine, but I'm not sure the level to which that conversation has gone in from Joel Embiid's perspective. So I'll sell off a little bit.
I like that. I think that's a solid answer, and I like how you dug deep for that one. But it's true. It kind of depends to me how you define that word pressured, because you're right. There's certainly been conversation, and what kind of pressure is Joel Embiid applying, we don't know. But there's been conversations, and I don't think that Joel is saying no, no worries.
Like he's obviously there's definitely a sense of urgency from both sides. But again, it's like what is the what am I trying to say? How urgent is the sense of urgency, if that makes sense, for both sides?
Right. Yep, so we're selling that. We believe that Joel is implying at least pressure to a degree. Number 2, buying or selling. This has been hot news over the last couple of days. The Sixers are quote-unquote looking to package Tobias Harris in on a Ben Simmons trade. Are you buying or selling that the Sixers have kind of made that a point of emphasis?
For the most part, I'd probably sell off on that because if I'm the Sixers,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, number 1, it's a lot of money. Number 2, he's been not so great. Do I really want to trade Harris? I mean, if I can, I might, but will I actually do it is another question. So I'm gonna sell off on that. I'm gonna sell. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you saw anyway. Kyle. So that was reported. I forget who initially said it, but Bleacher Report I think got a hold of it, and Kyle Kuzma tweeted. He said you're trying to sell off $80 million or something like that with laughing emojis, and I mean that's a lot of money in a trade from one side. And whether or not, I mean obviously that doesn't mean going to one team. You know, that's part of a 3-team deal where the Sixers get whatever back. And so immediately after that, I saw some mock trades and things. Oh, yeah. With Ben going somewhere, Tobias going somewhere. But I agree. I don't think that that's like the Sixers' new move to ship those guys off together. You know, Ben is still the focus. So we're selling that one. All right, number 3 from your guy, Woj. He says... and this is kind of a hard buy-sell kind of topic, but he says that there's been no movement on a Ben Simmons trade, and the situation could linger until the 2022 draft. So let's do the buying or selling on the back half of that. So are you buying or selling the fact that this Ben Simmons saga situation could linger until the draft of 2022?
I'm putting a large chunk of my net worth, which isn't much, into this. Into this whole statement, not just one part.
You're buying.
Okay. I'm buying hard.
Okay. Why?
Well, considering the fact that it's been July, August, September, October, November, December, January, 7 months. Well, yeah, I'll count. It was the end of June. I'll count. It was like, 3/4 of the way through June. I'll count that. Considering it's been 7 months and nothing's literally nothing has happened. It's been all just smoke and mirrors, literally for 7 months. Mm-hmm. The draft is in June again, 5 more months. I would heavily assume that this is going to go at least until the draft. I mean, unless, again, and I'm putting on my Daryl Morey shoes here, but unless Bradley Beal becomes available. James Harden, I don't know. Jaylen Brown, which probably not, then this is going to continue. And I've been saying this for a while. I'm always like, Listen, everybody, Simmons probably is going to be here for a while. I'm literally Daryl Morey. Buckle up. Like, this is how it's going to be. So I'm not expecting a trade. I mean, if it happens tomorrow, that's cool. I'm not expecting it, but I'm not expecting a trade anytime soon. Again, just for the sole reason that it's been so long and we've heard nothing.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, okay. So you're buying heavy on that one. And you've been vocal about that on Trust the Love for a while. You've been vocal, especially the last couple days, I think, since some of these talks have ramped up surrounding Ben Simmons and the possibility that it could linger. Yeah, I mean, you've been vocal at the point that Daryl wants what he wants.
He's just not going to back down.
He's not going to settle.
He's not.
We've been vocal about that here on Planet 76 as well. I did look it up. The NBA trade deadline is under a month away. So Thursday, February 10th is the deadline. We are at January 12th right now, and I'll be honest, I didn't foresee, at least at the beginning of the year, even in the off season, I didn't foresee it lasting this long. But that's also because I, for one, think Ben Simmons' trade value is worth more than a lot of people think, personally. But obviously, it appears that more people are right, or just they're what they're willing to give up isn't what Daryl Morey wants.
And
I don't know exactly where I stand on. I guess I am more leaning toward the side of wait till you get what you want. But me, selfishly, personally, am getting a little, especially when you see the Sixers play well and you think, oh, man, think about what this team could do, not with an all-star, but with another piece that's a solid NBA player, like what this team could do. Because a lot of me is saying, okay, well, this is a year, and you posted about this too. I don't even know what you said. I purposely didn't read the whole thing because I want to hear it now, but about Joel Embiid's prime. And, this is a year of Joel Embiid's prime, and he's got a window that is it's not 15 years, and you're telling me that we're not going to be the best that we could possibly be. Part of me says that, but part of me does agree. Wait, so where do you stand on this whole thing of Joel Embiid and his prime? And we're gonna, if a trade does not get done, guess what? The Sixers are not going to the NBA Finals this year.
Well,
fact.
Well, unless it's for a top 10 player, I still don't think the Sixers are going to the finals this year. That's what I thought before the season. That's what I'm going to rock with because the East is just too the NBA is too good. I mean, Eastern Conference we have the Nets, we have the Bucks. Western Conference we have the Warriors, we have the Suns, we have the Nuggets. Are the Sixers better than any of those teams right now? I can't say so. And again, depending on if, which probably not, a trade happens, what will the trade be? Will it be for a top 10 player? Will it be for a top 15 player? Top 20? While it would make sense in terms of fit around Joel to just get players who fit the system, you also have to realize that star power is going to put the Sixers into that tier. And because the Bucks have star power. Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Nets, obviously. Suns, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. Really well-rounded squad. It's like there comes a point where, depth is awesome, but you also need another star. You need another player in between your MVP, superstar, top 10 player, and your, I don't want to say bench because obviously what we have around Embiid is more than a bench, but your secondary
your
tiers
Tobias,
of players.
Your
Yes,
Seth,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, I don't know.
So, do you think it's appropriate to say that Daryl Morey, if we can try and get in his head, that he is simply saying, with his unwillingness to move Simmons, is saying that, and to go along with what you said, which makes a lot of sense, is that I'm not going to trade Ben to get some good NBA players that are solid, but I don't want to do that because it's going to trap us in the sense that the ceiling isn't going to be where we want it to be if we make a move.
Yeah,
right?
that's a great point, yeah.
And is he banking on someone becoming available, and whether that's after this year, then that's fine? Because he's more worried about getting someone that's going to make this team a legitimate contender. And he's willing to wait rather than getting, I don't even know who's been linked, but, a couple guys off the Kings or a couple guys off the Spurs that aren't going to take the team to that level. You just said it, star power. So I guess that's what Daryl Morey is doing. And I guess I agree, right? I mean, it's hard to disagree with that move.
And I really just think he wants to go all in. I don't think he wants to leave anything to chance of, okay, we get 3 or 4 really solid guys. Is that enough? He wants a star. He wants an all-star. Yep. This is enough to get us into the tier of the best teams in the NBA. And he's, like I said, it goes in line with what I said. It's been 7 months. He's not going, he literally said 3 days after the second round in a press conference, we need a difference maker for Simmons. We would like an all-star caliber player. He has not changed his mind since, and it's been 7 months. I don't know why people think he's suddenly going to, okay, Malik Beasley and D'Angelo Russell sounds good to me. I don't know why people think he's gonna just snap his fingers. Okay, guys, I changed my mind. Like, this dude is a seasoned genius. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to change his mind. It's just not happening.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense because if you know, as much as all of us want this to see the Sixers, like,
we all want to see,
you know,
but it's like,
right. Because you got to be smart. Because a trade for a couple guys that make the team better, but still not at that level, like the level of contender kind of thing, it traps us a little bit in the sense that, like, okay, you know, here we go. We're gonna be, you know, we might have an outside chance to make the Eastern Conference Finals. Yay! That's not the goal that Morey has in mind. Right. And so, and because of that, like, once you get rid of Simmons, like, I mean, NBA is crazy, but I don't foresee a whole lot of trades happening after that. Morey wants this trade that when he moves Simmons to boom, okay, this is the squad. You know, with some other key pieces that we can pick up along the way, but like, you're not going to trade. I don't think you're going to trade Ben for whoever the guys that you just named, you know, D'Angelo Russell and whoever, and then, oh, that didn't work. Oh, crap, let us move them. Like, he wants this first one to be the shot, right?
Yes, exactly.
So,
exactly. Very well put.
All right. So you are buying the fact that Ben Simmons could be.
Putting a large portion of my net worth into that.
He's putting that net worth in, baby. Watch out. Ben Simmons will be here for a while. All right. So we play the Boston Celtics on Friday. The Boston Celtics, not sure if they play tonight. I think they play tonight, but they're sitting around 500. Pretty much been there all year, kind of up, down, up, down, up, down. They win 2, they lose 2, they win 1, they lose 1. 20-21 before tonight. A couple notables for them, obviously Jason Tatum, 25 a game. Jaylen Brown, someone who's been linked to the Sixers, averaging about 24 a game. Outside of that, you know who they got. We don't like them, but they also have Al Horford. Just
I don't know why, but you guys can't see.
Who
you
will
guys
be playing
can't see
in Philadelphia.
You guys can't see, but on our outline, Troy just has. He just has Al Horford. LOL.
That's all you need to say,
it's
bro.
It's funny, man.
That's all you need.
It's funny.
Al Horford. LOL. So he was. This is his first year in Boston, right?
Since being on the Thunder, yeah.
So he was on the Thunder last year, and the Thunder only make one trip to Philadelphia. Do we remember if he played?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because we know what that means. This is Al Horford's first game back in the city of brotherly love.
I hope his sister
certainly the first game with
gonna get booed
capacity.
Hard.
Yeah.
Anna Horford.
Yeah,
she will,
for sure.
She will get screamed at. Like, fans will harass her.
Al Horford, bro. He's back. You know he's going to play
Probably
well.
Have like 20 and 15.
He's going to piss us
with
off.
Like 6 threes.
With a monster block to end it or something stupid.
Dunk.
My goodness. Yeah, just garbage.
Eastern Conference Finals all over.
After he misses a jump shot.
2017 second round all over again.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, my God. I hate Al Horford. Anyway, Sixers play Boston. Let's not lose back-to-back at home. Yeah. Let's take care of business. I always love playing Boston. Let's go beat him by 15-20. Like, shoot. Show Jaylen Brown what he can be a part of.
Hey, listen, Jaylen Brown. You can have this if you want it. Just all it takes. Go to Brad Stevens. Hey, listen, man. I think I want to be traded. Oh, where do you want to go? I want to go to the Sixers. I want to win a championship with Joel Embiid. Okay. We're not going to trade you, but good try.
So, yeah, the like that. The Boston Celtics coming off 2 wins back-to-back against the Pacers, so they do sit right now at 21-21. Let me ask you this, just real quick about the Celtics. You know, we know they're 2 stars, and they are legitimate stars in this league.
Yes.
We know the supporting cast. So, to your knowledge, I don't know how much you've watched them or how much you know about the Celtics, but why are the Boston Celtics 21-21 as opposed to 7-8 games above 500? Why are they currently sitting at 10th? And it's a logjam. I get that. I'm not acting like the Sixers are way above them, but why are they sitting at 10th in the Eastern Conference right now?
Yeah, I haven't watched a ton of the Celtics this year. I would like to assume that it's because they are very top-heavy in terms of their team, meaning, again, to go even further, Brown and Tatum do a lot of the work as scorers, as passers, playmakers, all that stuff. And I don't think there's a lot of, aside from Schroeder and Smart, who are, as far as I know, pretty inconsistent, they don't really have a lot of, I guess I would say, not difference makers, but they don't really have much else. They have a lot of one-dimensional players. They don't really have a ton of extras around Tatum and Brown. And when those guys are off, there's nobody to really pick up the slack, especially if, Tatum's having a bad shooting night, Jaylen Brown needs help. Who's going to be? I mean, Marcus Smart has his occasional game. Schroeder has an occasional game. But other than that, it's just like, I think those are, although, no, I don't. I was going to say, I think that's one team where their record reflects who they are as a team, but I don't know. Before the season, I thought they'd be better. And I think they're still better than what their record shows. I think they're a good team. They just have to, Schroeder has to get himself going, Smart has to get himself going, and Tatum and Brown can't have bad shooting nights.
Right. Yeah, they have, I think that's well said. I think that, again, outside of those top two, they got Schroeder, who's averaging 15 a game, and then from there they have 5 guys that are between 11 and 7 a game. Just kind of throwing that out there. 2 of those being Al Horford and Josh Richardson.
I forgot about Josh Richardson. See, those, one-dimensional kind of, Josh Richardson's like a wannabe 3-and-D player. We know. Listen, I can say that because he was here, and we know what he did. We know, he had his occasional game. He dropped 30 on the Heat one game and then dipped. So, I'm allowed to say that about Josh Richardson. I know what kind of player he is. And then Horford, whatever. Horford, whatever.
Yeah, they got some one-dimensional guys. You're right. And his freedom.
He's another one. Horrible defensively.
Started on him.
Aside from being a really good scorer down low, if he goes up against any sort of good big man, he just gets cooked. Can't defend for anything. Gets destroyed on the defensive end. He's not going to take over a game for you as a scorer. So, very, very, a lot of one-dimensional players, unfortunately.
Yep. And, so obviously sitting at 21-21, just over halfway through the season, or about halfway through the season. They're sitting in 10th in the East, looking to make a move. Obviously, again, the star power is certainly there. Hard to blame them, but the supporting cast will have to step it up and be more consistent. That probably is the key. You'd probably imagine that in those 21 victories that someone is stepping up to what they need to do, and then in the 21 outs,
or one of those was, I'm not sure if they won this game, Jaylen Brown scoring 50.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That'll be Friday night at the Wells Fargo Center, Friday the 14th, yes. Better than Friday the 13th. Yep. At home, 7 o'clock. Yes. So be sure to check that one out. I know I will be. That'd be a good one to go to, just saying. Now I'm thinking. I don't know. We'll see. But, anything else other than that here on Planet 76?
No, I don't think so. I got to go see if there are any more Hornets fans in my DMs and comments. So that'll be interesting.
All right. So we will see you next time here on Planet 76. This has been episode 35. Michael, what is it? The snake
episode, a.k.a. the cupcake episode, a.k.a. the Kevin Durant episode.
A.k.a. the Kevin Durant episode. You heard it here. January 12th. Sixers 7-game win streak snapped tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. And we will see you next time on Planet 76. Go Sixers. Let's go beat the Celtics. Are you on Instagram? why don't you go give us a follow at Planet 76 Podcast so you can be in the know when we drop new episodes. Thanks for listening to this one, and we'll see you next time.